Welcome back, everyone, to Unplugged at Stanford. We are here with Mark Gunn of Capital Anesthesiology Association. Thank you so much for being with us today, Mark.
Sure, glad to be here.
All right, so let's start off. And can you just tell us a little bit about what you do, where you work, and just kind of a little bit of the history of the company?
I'm a pediatric anesthesiologist. I work in Austin, Texas at Dell Children's Hospital, and I've been doing pediatric and adult anesthesia for 29 years.
Awesome, awesome. So can you tell me a little bit about the culture of the hospital and the culture of the practice and what you really like about the culture?
The culture is to support each other. Say if someone gets in trouble or a patient gets in trouble, there's 4 or 5 board certified, very experienced anesthesiologists who will come to your rescue and get that patient out of trouble, and then it's all good. That's the sort of culture it is. Everybody watches out for each other. If there's a family emergency or anything going on, we help each other out. Get that guy or lady out so they can go take care of their issues. They come back and everybody's glad to see them and hope everything is good.
Awesome, awesome. So tell the students a little bit about opportunities that are offered to students students after they finish their medical degree with potential internships or shadowing, or what kind of services does the hospital provide for opportunities?
We as individual anesthesiologists provide opportunities for students to come and shadow us, usually for a day, and that's when they're still in college. Most typically we have students from the University of Texas come because it's right across the road. They come and they shadow us and hang out for a day and see what anesthesia is all about, pediatric or adult anesthesia. Opportunities for learning more about anesthesia occur when they're interns or during, typically when they're interns, and they can come and see or spend a month doing anesthesia and actually really get in there and learn the processes, learn what it's like to take a patient from the preoperative holding area all the way through an operative procedure, and then into the recovery room. They learn about pain management, they learn about anesthesia management, that are about regional anesthesia, which I'd be glad to explain. And it's a pretty good deal. If I was a student, I think I would really enjoy that if I was at all interested in anesthesia.
So what advice would you give to students to get connected with those opportunities? Would you say like email a person directly, or are there specific applications that students would go through?
Depends on the institution. Some hospitals, like university hospitals, like our teaching hospital, you have to do a bit of a background check, and then it's pretty thorough. A small surgery center, it's less rigorous, and you typically can just show up and watch things. If you want to participate in somebody's care, you probably have to be a resident or an intern at that specific institution. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so can you tell everyone just a little bit about your kind of background in education? So what did you do as an undergraduate and then medical school? What was kind of your path throughout schooling?
Okay, I was a biology major in college at Texas A&M. I went to the University of Texas at Houston Medical School. I then I thought I wanted to be a surgeon, actually, and I went to the University of California in San Diego. And I changed my mind in the middle of that, and because I just didn't really care that much about that type of practice. Seemed like the anesthesia people were really happy, so I switched into anesthesia, and I went to the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia, in Penn, which was probably the best decision I ever made. I was very well trained. It's a very nice institution, the smartest people I've ever been around. And then I went to Seattle at the University of Washington and did a pediatric anesthesia fellowship. All of that took about 8 years after medical school. And then I went into practice in Seattle for a while doing adult and pediatric anesthesia. And then we moved to Austin, Texas in 1999, and I've been there doing adult and pediatric anesthesia. So that's sort of my whole story, but it's been really fun.
Yeah, awesome. So what advice would you give to students? I think most of the viewers that we have on these videos are undergraduates. So what advice would you give to undergraduates who are interested in getting into the medical field in some capacity? Obviously, that's a very long educational journey. What advice would you have for them at the undergraduate stage of their career?
Your heart has to be in it. Don't go into it for the money. I mean, the money's good. If you want to go into something for the money, do something else. But if you're in it for the passion and because you want to help people, then it's a great job. Don't get your heart set on anything before you go to medical school and get the exposure. Go and look at several things. Look at pediatrics, look at internal medicine, look at surgery, look at subspecialties of surgery. And then look at anesthesia. Anesthesia is a good fit for me. If you're if it takes you a little bit longer to make a decision, perhaps internal medicine, pediatrics is a good specialty. If you're a fast thinker and you like to make quick decisions and have them matter right now, anesthesia and surgery are great fields for you. You have to fit first you have to have the passion. Second, you have to fit your field to your personality. I'm a quick thinker, quick action type person, and anesthesia fits my personality very well that way.
Awesome. Thank you. Last question. What is the favorite part of your job?
Two things. One, I love taking care of kids and babies. I love taking a little bitty preemie who is very, very fragile. You don't get any mistakes, and getting them through a very tricky and tough operation. That gives me great satisfaction. The other great satisfaction is one branch of adult anesthesia, which is taking care of pregnant ladies, doing labor epidurals, doing C-sections. I walk in that room and here's this poor miserable woman in labor who is just in a terrible state, and 10 to 15 minutes later she tells me she loves me. I mean, it's just the most gratifying thing ever. Of course, the husband's sitting over there going, oh, wait a minute, what about me? And she's like, well, you did this. So anyway, that's my two favorite things in what I do.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Mark.
All right, very good. Thanks.
Take care.